don't want to wear somebody down. I
Mhm.
want to assuage their fears, show them we've got solutions, show them how we might be better than the professional they're working with, and why it might be a better idea to work with us in the near and distant future. So how do I feel about ghosting? After we go to all that hard work, they've put us through our paces, we've made a proposal, and then we don't hear anything. It shows a huge disrespect for our work that we do, and I just can't get my head around it, no matter how hard I try, why anybody wouldn't just send an email saying, "Hey, thank you for your time. We've decided to remain where we're at, or we've decided to go another direction, and we really appreciate the effort. Call us next year," or, "Hey, we won't be looking at this again for 24 months." It's just not that hard. And honestly, I feel like email is the next worst thing to ghosting, or a text. It's like
Mhm.
pick up the phone, have a conversation. It's good practice. It's great practice. In fact, you know what? I actually raise my hand and say, "Hey, I'll break the bad news," not because I like it. I've been doing it for a lot of years. I've had to let people go in my career, and I've had to tell my fair share of vendors, "Hey, you're not getting this one, and here's why." And they want to argue with me. I say, "Hey, it doesn't matter. The decision's been made, but the next opportunity will be 12 months from now, 24 months from now, or you'll get the next one.
Mhm.
We'll just keep on going." But it's interesting to see how people take that bad news. The old sales mentality still exists, where they're trying to overcome the objection when the deal has already been made, the
Mhm.
decision's already been made. And I don't like it any more than anybody else, but I'm the first one that'll say, "Hey, I'll do it. I'll have the conversation." I think it'd be good practice for anybody else out there to make it a point to deliver bad news face to face, or at the very least in a telephone conversation. I don't mean a voicemail. I don't mean an email. I don't mean a text. And I
Mhm.
certainly don't mean disappear. They're
Yeah.
all just, they're way down there on my list.
Yeah. Oh man, I'm glad we're hitting this one. This is big. I know a lot
Yeah.
of people will this will resonate. All right, let's. I want to wrap up with this. This is a thought I have, and I want you to chime in. So years and years ago, gosh, this must have been like '07, '08. This is before Rev was born. He's 16 now. I was doing a seminar with a good friend of mine named Justin Fatika. He's a speaker, author, he's done a lot of stuff. He's got a basketball, kind of like Diaries of Basketball that's going to be with Netflix coming out this year, to be
Hmm.
seen, and just a great guy. He's got this. He had an HBO documentary on him years ago called Hard as Nails. If you all can Google it, Hard as Nails HBO documentary. He was in ministry, youth ministry, and he would go into high schools and talk to the youth from sixth grade, middle school, high school, and he was just fierce about you know being tough. It's kind of like Scared Straight. Remember Scared Straight?
Hmm. Very
It's
well.
that's kind of his mentality. And I saw the documentary and I reached out to him, and we actually created a seminar called Take a Stand. And this is about 2 years we had it running, and we're reinvigorating that. And the whole philosophy of taking a stand, and this is more for like kids and parents, but the philosophy is no different. When you have a belief that you're taking a stand for someone, it's like you're seeing the best in them. It's like a good
Hmm.
coach, right? A good coach sees the best in you, and they're not going to let you be average, whether it's running, giving your efforts, right? That's what a great coach try to maximize what's out of you. A
Hmm.
good parent does the same thing. And what we came up with in our content was the opposite of taking a stand for someone, meaning literally having the tough conversation in a
Hmm.
loving, compassionate way, saying, "Come on, Kevin, you're better than this. If I don't say this to you, who else is going to say it?" Right. The opposite of taking a stand for someone is to sell out. Sell
Hmm.
out means you have no courage. You're going to let that person go down this mediocre path or failure. Worse yet, in coaching, that's horrible. In parenting, it's horrible. In consulting, it's horrible. Right. But I want you to speak on that a little bit. I know that's a concept we have: the stand versus selling out. When you have to have those tough conversations, you have this 1,200 words a minute we talk to ourselves, right? That little battle in our mind about, oh gosh, I don't want to offend this person. Oh, I don't want to lose a relationship. How do you resolve that in your mind when you think about taking a stand for someone? And I know you very well. You're not a sellout kind of guy. You're the guy that's
Hmm.
going to have a tough conversation 9 times out of 10, if not 10 out of 10. Like that's how you lean. That's your genetics. That's your behavior. Plus, I've seen your profile. I know your behavioral profile. You lean that direction. But
Hmm.
there are times humanistically where we stop and think, gosh, maybe there's another way to do it. Or maybe I need to wait and give it a couple times, a couple days, or maybe I just pause on this a little bit. Maybe they'll grow through it. Reconcile that for me. How do you do that?
Well, like I said earlier, my technique 10 and 20 years ago is different than it is today.